Hollywood created a system of perfect stars for decades, celebrities who seemed to live above everyone else. Their dazzling smiles appeared on magazine covers, their voices filled the airwaves, and their faces shone on big screens across America. But what if I told you that some of the most shocking personal hygiene habits were hidden behind those perfect smiles and stylish outfits? What if the stars you admired from a distance disgusted the co-stars who had to work with them? The truth about Hollywood's biggest stars will surprise you and may change how you see your favorite classic films. Today, we will reveal the dirty secrets that studio publicists kept hidden, from breath so bad it ruined kissing scenes to body odor that cleared film sets. These are the shocking hygiene habits of Hollywood's most famous icons. For decades, these secrets remained concealed, until now. This video will examine the hygiene habits of 15 legendary stars from Hollywood's golden age, whose private lives clashed with their polished public images. From dental issues to skipping baths, from awful breath to well-known body odor, these celebrities had secrets that studio publicity departments worked hard to keep hidden. Number 1. Clark Gable, the king with killer breath. Clark Gable was a famous Hollywood actor known for his charm and good looks. He ruled the film industry for over 30 years and is primarily remembered for his role as Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind. When Gable smiled, many women were captivated. However, if they had gotten too close to him, they might have been put off by his breath. By age 32, Gable had almost all his natural teeth removed and replaced with dentures. This situation might surprise many, especially for a movie star, but dental care back then was harsh. Gable had a severe gum infection called pyorrhea, now known as periodontitis. In 1933, as Gable's career was taking off, his dentist decided to remove almost all his teeth. Gable spent several days in the hospital and then went to Canada to recover quietly. The pain he experienced was likely intense, and dental issues would continue to trouble him for years. Gable's dentures were uncomfortable and did not fit well, leading to severe bad breath that became famous in Hollywood. His co-stars, while excited to work with him, often felt uneasy during romantic scenes. For instance, during It Started in Naples, 1960, filming, Sophia Loren reportedly kept her distance and asked the director to limit their close interactions. Gable believed that using mouthwash or breath mints would harm his acting. When he made his last film, The Misfits, 1961, his dental problems had worsened, and people could smell his breath from several feet away. Despite this, nobody confronted him because he remained an influential figure in the industry. Number 2, Joan Crawford, dental disaster behind the famous lips. Joan Crawford was a famous actress known for her strong ambition and striking looks. However, she had a painful history with her teeth. Like many stars who wanted to improve their appearance, Crawford had dental work to make her cheekbones more defined. Following Marlene Dietrich's example, she removed several molars, which led to serious problems. After her teeth were removed, her front teeth started to spread apart. Dentists used cement to fill these gaps and then filed them for caps. This process must have hurt a lot and resulted in severe gum infections. As a consequence, her entire mouth swelled, giving her a permanently enlarged upper lip, something that became her signature look, even though it came from painful dental issues. In her late 60s, she needed major surgery on her teeth, requiring 24-hour medical care afterward. The glamorous image she showed the public hid years of dental pain caused by risky cosmetic procedures. Crawford's situation was made worse by her obsessive perfectionism about her appearance. She focused intently on her makeup, clothing, and posture, often scrubbing her hands until they were raw and insisting that her home be spotless. Yet, she struggled with her dental hygiene throughout her life. Makeup artists noted the difference between how carefully she managed her appearance and the condition of her teeth, which became harder to photograph nicely as she got older. There was also a disturbing rumor among Hollywood insiders about Crawford's breath, which reportedly got worse when she drank a lot, especially in her later years. Number 3, Marilyn Monroe, the dirty bombshell. Marilyn Monroe was the ultimate sex symbol, but her hygiene habits were less glamorous than her public image. Sources, including her The Misfits co-star Clark Gable, say Monroe often neglected personal cleanliness. Despite looking stunning on screen, she rarely bathed, sometimes went without undergarments, and did not follow basic hygiene practices. In his biography of Gable, author David Brett claimed that, despite rumors, Gable was not romantically interested in Monroe. Gable strongly preferred cleanliness and reportedly found Monroe's lax approach to hygiene off-putting. Brett mentioned that Monroe sometimes went days without bathing and did not use deodorant. This contrast shows the gap between Hollywood's polished image and the messy reality of life. Alan Whitey Snyder, Monroe's makeup artist and trusted friend, created special techniques to ensure she looked flawless on screen, even though her bathing was irregular. Snyder kept baby wipes and strong powder in his kit to freshen her up between takes during long filming days. Staff from the wardrobe department who worked on her films also shared surprising accounts. Number 4. Howard Hughes. From debonair producer to reclusive germaphobe. Howard Hughes was a famous aviation leader and film producer who dated many Hollywood actresses. Early in his career, he took great care of his appearance. However, as he got older, his obsessive-compulsive disorder turned from a simple habit into a serious condition that affected his hygiene. In his later years, Hughes intensely feared germs, which led to strange behaviors. He wore tissue boxes on his feet instead of shoes, let his hair and nails grow long, and sometimes went months without bathing. The man who was once one of Hollywood's most sought-after bachelors became a recluse, sitting naked in a hotel room clean zone, surrounded by jars of his urine. Hughes still held very high standards despite his decline regarding the women he dated. In his memoir, Full Service, Scotty Bowers explained that Hughes was so focused on his health that he would not touch a woman with a minor blemish or pimple. This odd behavior, dirtiness for himself but perfection for others, shows the contradictions behind Hollywood's glamorous image. Hughes's decline was shocking compared to his earlier reputation. In the 1930s, he produced films and dated stars like Katharine Hepburn, Jean Harlow, and Ava Gardner. He was known for his neat appearance and expensive suits. Former employees said he would change his shirt several times daily and insisted on a clean environment. By the 1940s, however, signs of his mental health issues and poor hygiene became apparent to those around him. One secretary noted that he developed complicated hand-washing routines that could take up to 15 minutes, using a new bar of soap each time and needing a fresh towel touched only at the corners. Number 5. Errol Flynn, swashbuckling star with sweat problems. Errol Flynn was a popular star at Warner Brothers in the 1930s and 40s, known for his good looks and charm in films like Captain Blood, 1930, and The Adventures of Robin Hood, 1938. However, he had a bad reputation for being a womanizer and a heavy drinker, which affected his hygiene. His drinking made him smell of alcohol, and co-stars found it hard to work with him because of his body odor and breath. Flynn often wore the same clothes for days, making the situation worse. As his drinking got worse in the 1940s, his hygiene suffered too. Costume department notes suggested that his costumes needed more frequent cleaning than other actors. Olivia de Havilland, who worked with him in several films, was one of the few who could politely raise the hygiene issue. She would suggest he use the mouthwash from her dressing room, helping him address the problem without losing his dignity. Number 6. Marlon Brando. Method acting, method stinking. Marlon Brando, known for his famous roles in films like A Streetcar Named Desire and On the Waterfront, was as renowned for his body odor as for his talent. As he got older and his weight changed, he became less concerned about cleanliness. Many co-stars complained about his refusal to bathe often or use deodorant. When he filmed Apocalypse Now, his hygiene had declined, creating challenges for director Francis Ford Coppola and the crew, who had to deal with his creative demands and strong personal smell. Brando's poor hygiene seemed partly intentional. He rejected Hollywood's personal grooming standards. From the early days of his career, Brando showed little interest in looking perfect. During filming at A Streetcar Named Desire, director Elia Kazan often had to ask him to wash more frequently. Co-star Vivien Leigh found his body odor upsetting during their scenes together, especially given the physical nature of their interactions. Brando paid even less attention to grooming expectations as he gained more power in Hollywood. While filming The Godfather, makeup artists struggled to prepare him due to his refusal to follow basic hygiene practices, which created extra challenges for the production team. Number 7. James Dean, rebel with a cause to bathe. James Dean was known for his rebellious image and often did not prioritize hygiene. He rarely bathed and sometimes wore the same clothes for days or weeks, which led to complaints about his body odor during Rebel Without a Cause filming. Co-star Natalie Wood found it challenging to work with him, especially in romantic scenes. Dean's hygiene problems likely started earlier in his life. Friends in New York remembered his small apartment, which didn't have reliable hot water. Even after he became famous in Hollywood, these habits continued. Director Elia Kazan gave Dean his big break in East of Eden and noticed Dean's earthy nature. He often had to talk to Dean about his hygiene, especially during close scenes. Co-star Julie Harris mentioned that Dean believed in Lucky Charms, wearing the same red socks for weeks and rarely cleaning his favorite leather jacket. He thought it was dirt added to its authenticity. Number 8. Judy Garland. When mental health affected hygiene, Judy Garland faced many challenges throughout her career, including pressure from the studio, substance abuse, and mental health issues. These struggles made it hard for her to take care of herself. Times of depression and addiction made basic self-care, like bathing and dental hygiene, more difficult. At MGM, she was given diet pills to keep her working and barbiturates for sleep, which hurt her ability to maintain personal care. During filming The Wizard of Oz, 1939, makeup artists noticed that these substances affected her skin. As her addiction grew worse in the 1940s, it became harder for MGM staff to help her manage her appearance. Her weight changed often, and her dental health suffered from neglect and the side effects of the medications. When she made A Star is Born, 1954, her husband Sid Luft had to hire a personal assistant to help her maintain her hygiene during the stressful production. On days when she felt sober and stable, Garland kept up her grooming. However, on tougher days, she sometimes came to the studio unwashed, with dirty hair and bad breath. Her hygiene problems were a sign of her mental health struggles, not a lack of care. Co-star Dirk Bogarde noticed these changes during her last film, I Could Go On Singing, 1963. He saw that her condition affected her appearance and that the crew had to work quickly to prepare her for the camera. He sympathized with her situation, understanding that her inconsistent self-care pointed to deeper issues. Number 9. Elvis Presley, the king of rock with royal halitosis. By the 1960s, the old Hollywood studio system was fading, and stars had more freedom to express their quirks and flaws. Elvis Presley, who became a major star by moving from music to films, faced some hygiene challenges. While he took great care of his hair, his dental health suffered as he increasingly relied on prescription drugs. By the mid-1960s, Elvis's teeth became noticeably discolored, and he had a reputation for bad breath. Actress Marianne Mobley, who starred with Elvis in Girl Happy, 1965, later shared that kissing him on screen was not as romantic as fans might think, mainly because of his breath. Elvis's contrasting hygiene habits were striking. He spent much time perfecting his hair using various products, but neglected his dental care. As his use of pain medications and tranquilizers grew, he often forgot to take care of his teeth or could not do so consistently. When he filmed Paradise Hawaiian Style, 1966, his breath was such a problem that co-star Susanna Lee developed ways to avoid real contact during their kissing scenes, creating the illusion of romance while breathing through her mouth. The film crew noticed the irony of one of the world's most desired men having breath that repelled his co-stars, but Elvis's fame kept them from confronting him. During the 1970s, as he performed in Las Vegas, makeup artists struggled to make him look like his former self, dealing with his weight gain and hygiene issues from his drug use. Tragically, as Elvis's health declined in his final years, his grooming also suffered. The man who once carefully controlled his image became increasingly indifferent to his appearance. By the time he died in 1907, there was a massive gap between how fans viewed him and the reality of his health. Another Hollywood icon whose private life contradicted his public persona. Number 10. Charlie Chaplin, the Tramp's real-life odor. Charlie Chaplin, famous for his Little Tramp character, sometimes mixed his on-screen persona with real life, including hygiene issues. His second wife, Lita Gray, mentioned in divorce papers that he did not keep clean during their marriage, though some of her claims may have been exaggerated. People who worked closely with Chaplin reported that he often skipped baths, especially during busy work periods. Despite concerns about his hygiene, Chaplin was a talented filmmaker. He could present a neat appearance for public events, contrasting with his tramp character. In the 1940s, when Chaplin's life became controversial because of his political views, reports about his hygiene decreased, making it unclear if he changed his habits. In the end, Chaplin shared more with his character than just a unique walk and mustache. If you found these facts interesting, please like and subscribe for more stories about Hollywood's icons. Let us know in the comments which hygiene issues surprised you the most or which star you'd like us to look into next. Thanks for watching.